On November 14 to 16, the 15th Annual Assembly of the Eastern Partnership Civil Society Forum was held in Brussels. He brought together representatives of more than 250 civil society organizations from the Eastern Partnership and EU countries, as well as the leaders of the Republic of Kazakhstan and the EU, to discuss the future of multilateral cooperation of the Eastern Partnership, the role of civil society, and ways to ensure its activity in the future. During the event, the participants evaluated the change in the Eastern Partnership policy and the region after the start of Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine. In particular, they focused on exploring synergies between the Eastern Partnership policy and the enlargement program, as well as strengthening cooperation with the Western Balkans and Central Asia. The event also discussed the current states of civil society in Azerbaijan, the government's suppression of democracy and freedom of speech in the country, as well as the sharp increase in the number of political prisoners. Within the framework of the event, the members of the civil society who came from Azerbaijan held a separate internal meeting, discussed the problems facing in the country and on the path of integration to Europe, and made suggestions to add some provisions to the resolution to be adopted. Proposals obtained from all groups of representatives were discussed and included into the resolution. Voted on, and the resolution was adopted by an absolute majority. We bring to your attention some provisions of the resolution, which consist of 27 provisions. Mindful of the prolonged Nagorno-Karabakh conflict over 3 decades, which has led to incredible human suffering and profound distress for both parties, with the displacement of Azerbaijanis and Armenians in the 19th and Armenians in post-2020. In the light of the urgency of eliminating hate speech and discrimination as a precondition of peaceful coexistence in the region, finding peaceful and lasting solutions to regional disputes with guarantees of respect for territorial integrity, human rights, and safe, voluntary, and dignified return of all the displaced population under the protection of international peacekeepers. Very concerned by the intensified crackdown on civil society organizations in Azerbaijan, where the government significantly strengthened its repressions and intimidations against local journalists, trade union activists, environmental defenders, opposition figures, and prisoners of conscience since the beginning of 2023, leading to the number of political prisoners in Azerbaijan to doubling in the span of 12 months, with the number increasing up to 200 people. Recalling the opinions issued by the Venice Commission of the Council of Europe on Azerbaijan's recent media law, as well as the law on political parties and law on non-governmental organizations, which broadly criticized these legislative measures, underlining that they are in contrast to the binding obligations of Azerbaijan as a member state of the Council of Europe, welcoming the European Parliament resolution on the case of Dr. Gubad Ibadoglu as of September 2023 to demand his immediate and unconditional release and the release of all other political prisoners, and to insist on his immediate access to adequate medical treatment and medication be ensured. Ensuring comprehensive and efficient cooperation with Azerbaijan civil society organizations, we urge the European Commission and the EU member states to establish a flexible and effective response mechanism to promptly address the current challenges that local civil society organizations in exile face due to our restrictive environment in the country. The creation of an Azerbaijan International implementers meeting should be considered along the lines of the already existing and successful experience of the Belarusian International Implementers Meeting and other mechanisms. We urge the EU member states and European institutions to call for the release of all political prisoners in Belarus and Azerbaijan, as well as prisoners of war across the Eastern Partnership region, leverage all available mechanisms to put pressure on the offending governments and stand in solidarity with them and their families. We recommend increasing international pressure to unconditionally release representatives of civil society forum member organizations, Dr. Qubad Ibadoglu, Bakhtiyar Hacıyev, and all other political prisoners in Azerbaijan. We urge the EU member states to increase financial and institutional support to the civil society organizations of Azerbaijan, making it adequate to the pressing needs in the country. Similarly to the support provided to the Belarusian civil society organizations operating in exile, and reactivate the European Instrument for Democracy and Human Rights country-based support scheme. All these provisions and more were covered in the resolution.
Congratulations, dear colleagues. Thank you.